What is up, guys and girls? Real quick here, just gonna make a video on what Insight is and is it worth it? Because there's a little bit of concern on not everyone's part, but some people's parts, including myself, on whether or not this is worth it. I will tell you right now, up front, one, it is worth it to do it. Number two, it's only worth it to do it on a unit that you want to play. Now, the reason for that I'll get into here in just a moment. The reason why I say to wait until you can do a unit is because if you take a look at this, it takes a lot of different things to unlock everything. So you need a bunch of their souls, you need these rainbow and the multi-world new items, which we'll go into in just a moment here in case you don't know what they are or how to get them. Plus you need Zell and the souls on top, like the blue and red souls. I know it's different, the character souls. So you need a bunch of different materials in order to get these things. Now, what's really important here is getting the very specific niche skills that each character would want. Like, he's more than likely not going to want dual wield on him innately, because if you look at this one gives a 12,000 damage cap, but if you're wanting to dual wield, like, you don't need the other skill, right? So you can kind of like pick and choose, because you have no attribute attack raise on him here, which gives 3,000, but then you have another sword giga boost, and if you have sword mega boost, you have like another 6,000 damage cap that you can put on him. So you don't need this skill, but you can use dual wield to kind of like counteract that, and then he has like double hits and yada yada yada. But that's not what we're really looking at. What we're really looking at is what is Insight and what is worth it, or is it worth it? And Insight is basically taking old characters and turning them into relevant characters. Now, they already tried to do something similar with this by giving the level 120 cap to the old characters, and then on their skill board, they would give them some pretty decent kind of limit breaks or transcends. So like in this case, if he's only equipped with one weapon, he has 24,000 damage cap increase. But if he's dual wielding or whatever, he gets a 12,000 damage cap single or dual wield, and then single wield he has 24,000. So relatively good. But then you look over here and he's got the same skill again, and he's got the same skill again here. But then this is really important, is they also gave some characters a physical or magical or both damage taken reduction. And some of them even have multiple of these. But that didn't really fix a lot of their issues. Now, they also changed some of their traits. Not all characters, but they did change a lot of them, to where they would like increase either damage or damage cap or healing or whatever it might have been. What Insight is doing is it's taking those enhancements and making it even better, because a lot of characters are coming out with not just obviously better base stats, which is really important in the game. If you don't have a base stat that's relatively high, then increasing it with percentage values is going to be less than, say, another character. And so, like, basically one tank is almost by default going to be better than another tank, or a DPS, if they have the same damage cap and everything. And that's another thing I want to get into is hit count. Hit count is very important in this game. So if you have, let's say, 10 hits on a skill, but another character has 7 hits on a skill, even though their damage cap might be like 10,000 higher than yours because of the skills that they have or the skills you put on them or whatever, the person with the 10 hit count will always be doing more damage than the person with a 7 hit count, theoretically, because if you hit for like 110,000 per hit, but you can't quite reach that with either character, for some reason, because of resistances, or the enemy just has too much defense, or you know, whatever the case might be. This is mostly for physical DPS. It's also counting for magical DPS as well. But basically, if your hit count isn't high enough, you're not really going to be hitting as many times, etc. But 110,000, and then like let's say you only get 70 or 80k out of it on normal hits, and then crits are like 110k plus. You're hitting an extra 3 times with the 10 hits than you are the 7. And that's why some characters do better off with dual wielding, because even though they have these really high damage caps, sometimes in battles you just can't hit them, so it's better to put dual wield on them. But you shouldn't have to be doing that a whole lot anymore, because if we go into a battle real quick, I will show you the difference between a normal, untouched, incited character versus a incited character. Okay, perfect. So we're going to do Refined Fang. Watch the hit count on this. Did you see how the hit count, the hit marker didn't even come up? I meant there was 1. Now, if I do Moon Arc, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 hit count. Now we're going to go to the Insight version of him. We're going to check his skills. So this is very important here. All his equipment and everything, nothing states that it changes his hit count, right? This is very important here. All of this is just damage and damage cap, all the insights here. He's got Thunder Resist, Earth Resist, all that stuff. Just increasing SET speed, cuts damage taken even further, insights critical, special. We got no attribute boost for him. As you guys can see here, nothing is adding to his hit count except for dual wield. This is important here. He might have dual wield equipped, but he doesn't have 2 weapons. He only has the 1 weapon. That means dual wield is literally doing nothing right now, because the way dual wield works is if you have 2 weapons equipped, your physical attack hit count is doubled. But if we watch his hit count here, on the same exact ability, it's going to be increased. Now before, the hit count was 1. Okay, so if we look at that, which it already automatically did that for me, that was 6 hits. Now if we do Moon Arc, that was 17 hits. That's a huge difference. Again, Refined Fang, 6 hits. Even if we had dual wield and we had both weapons, the hit count would only go from 1 to 2. But the way that they did the animations and they changed the hit counts on the characters when you give them insight is expansively huge. Because, again, if your character isn't getting a high hit count, your damage cap won't be as beneficial. In other words, your hit count is very big in this game. It's worth it, but it's not worth it. And I say this because I say that it's not worth it because it's very hard to get. You can watch Tweaks' video on Insight and all the stuff it gives and everything. I'll put the link in the description below. He goes like super in depth into this. Basically, if you were to wait for a character to get Insight and want to buy all the stuff from the shop, etc., it's like 575 or something. I don't recommend doing that because you're not only happening to get the character if you don't own it, but you also have to like buy this stuff. But if you play free to play and grind it out, it takes roughly like 3 months or something. Now hopefully later on down the line they come out with missions and stuff that we can do daily, like the EXP field, AP field, gear upgrade field, Infinite Zell Gate, and even the ability gates. Or they just implement in where the ability gates are and just put it as a drop right into the ability gates. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's the breakdown of it. I'm gonna get into the materials now. Alright guys, so we have the materials here. So our first one we're going to get here, we're just going to put all of this stuff in here. It's like 1,600 of these items. I like don't use them for anything. If you look here, we're going to get 4 in pyrogems. Okay, well, what do these in pyrogems do? Well, if we use the item here in Pyrogem, one of these allows us to increase each of these stats 1 time. And eventually there will be a limit, and then you're going to need to boost the limit using a different type of item here. That's pretty much it. The biggest thing is these Inspiralis, which you get from events at the moment, and then in Pyrogems. Right now you can only get them from events. What I recommend doing right now is saving them up until a character you want to play a lot comes out and has this implemented. Again, it'll take you probably 3 months to save up materials for you to play, and it is very expensive to do it. Pay to obtain quicker. Is it going to change the meta of characters and change the way the game's played? Oh yes, 100%. I think it's a good thing that they added this because it allows all the old characters that people keep getting, they're like, oh no, I just got so-and-so, but you know, they're not really great, but it allows them to work towards playing that character and make them good again. Because when characters first came out, they were really good, but then they kept scaling everything more and more, and they kept increasing the hit counts on characters, but they didn't touch the old characters at all. They didn't revamp them. They kind of revamped them a little bit with their hit count, like I had stated. So when you get insight on them, it increases their hit count, which is very nice. I very much so like that. But that is it, guys. It's the breakdown. What is insight? Is it worth it? And the materials I kind of went over. We'll go over it again real quick in case you wanted to skip to the end here. What is insight? It basically allows you to take a character and make them relevant again. Is it worth it? For a character that you want to play and you really enjoy playing them, but they're not really good. They're not able to hit that damage cap. They're not able to tank. They're not able to heal as good. Whatever the case might be, insight, 100% worth it. I recommend waiting until you have a character that you want to play, wait for them to release the insight for it, and then work on it. In the meantime, try to get these materials, gather them up, work on, you know, hoarding all of them. So the breakdown of materials, we have Pyrogems and we have the Chrysalis at the moment. There's different colors and variations of them. And again, there's really no way to get them outside of events at the moment. So I recommend just hoarding everything, waiting for the character to come out that you like, and upgrading them. And then enjoy the game. Alright guys, that's it. Have a good one. ChampiOnKilla out.